Alright, I'm just going to read these straight from the fans. So, alright, tons of fans have asked about the characters in the new game. What characters are you most excited about, and what can you tell us about the selection process?
Well, unfortunately, some of the characters that I'm the most excited about, I can't say anything about yet, because I don't want to spoil anything for the movie. I hate to give that answer, but you know, it's important for us because we don't want to spoil things for people that are going to be going to see the movies. Although, if you pick up the game, you will get a peek at some of the characters before you're going to see them in the movie. They're new to the movie license, and there's some really cool things going on. But what we did was we started by taking a look at all the characters that are in the films, both the previous movies and the ones that are coming up. And we tried to pick ones we thought that, as fans, people would want to be able to play as. We also looked then for other characters to support those, because Transformers, it's so important to capture that sense of being part of the team. So even though you play as a single Transformer in a level, you're interacting with some of your favorite allies. You're also fighting against some of the more iconic enemies and things like that. So things like Bumblebee, you can't make the game without Bumblebee and Optimus Prime and Ironhide. I mean, they're some of the most iconic characters that there are in the films. But you don't want them to be by themselves. So at times when you're playing as Bumblebee, you'll be fighting alongside other characters like Optimus and Sideswipe. So, you know, that's kind of the way that we looked at picking the characters. Then we took a look at some of the characters that we always liked from the series, and we asked Hasbro if we could bring some of those characters that aren't in the movie universe in, and they were really awesome about letting us design some characters around being in the movie that aren't part of the film.
Wow. Note to Michael Bay, Sean Miller knows how to keep a secret. Alright, so next question, Sean. So what new mechanics and or gameplay options does Stealth Force bring to the table?
Well, Stealth Force is really interesting because what it does is it gives you access to really powerful weapons in your vehicle form. It was really important to us to capture the feel of being a Transformer, and to do that, you want to feel just as natural in your vehicle form as you do as a robot. Our philosophy is that you're not a robot that turns into a car or a robot who drives a car. You're a robot and a vehicle all at once. So the Stealth Force allows us to keep the combat completely seamless. It means that when you're fighting your enemies and you transform into vehicle mode, you can actually maintain the same control scheme until you really need to book out of there or get to your next objective, or if you want to ram an enemy. Just by accelerating, you put your weapons away, you're beaming down the road, you can slam into your enemies and kill them that way, or you can use it tactically to get to new locations. And it just makes the flow of the combat so seamless that you no longer have to worry about what form you're in. You don't have to think about, well, I don't want to be a vehicle because I don't want to be without my weapons. It's a very intuitive flow to the combat.
Alright, so Sean, people want to know about the story. How does it tie into the movie?
Well, what we did is we built it as a prologue to the film. So rather than playing through the movie, we set our game story in the moments before the movie starts. So what that did, it allowed us to set up some of these characters that you've never seen before, explain why certain characters are going to be maybe in different situations or have some other things that are different about them. And you get to play through those moments before you go see the film. The cool thing about that is it let us set the gameplay up in ways that we can share things with you guys before the movie comes out without spoiling anything for the film, which is really important to us. We want to support the things that are going on in the movie, but as a Transformers fan, I really like also digging into some of the background, and it was a great opportunity for us to marry up what we know about the Transformers lore and add on to what is now the movie canon.
Okay, so I'm going to take two questions that are going to combine into one. Tell us about multiplayer, and tell us about the customization in multiplayer.
Well, with multiplayer, it's really important for us to be able to allow the players to play as the iconic characters. We come to the Transformers because we like Optimus Prime, because we like Megatron, because we love Starscream, so we want to be able to play those characters. But it also was important to be able to customize your characters. That's something that as an online player, I want to be able to create my own colors or my own weapons, and what it allows us to do, it lets you customize it so that you can also have some unique elements. But your character will always have your iconic weapon. You can change out your secondary weapon with weapons and abilities that are all designed for the class systems that we have. It helps us make sure that there's a reason to be, say, a scout, or there's a reason to be a commander. So it lets you customize within those brackets your gameplay. So if you, as a commander, you want to be more aggressive and more dangerous, that you can choose your abilities and weapons for that. If you want to support your team because you're going into team deathmatch or conquest, which is a team-based mode where you're capturing nodes, then you'll want to take more team-based powers, like healing and things like that.
One of the fans and I were on the same wavelength, because I wanted to ask you this question myself, because I don't know all the voice actors yet, but what voice actors will we hear from in the new game?
Well, you know, it's really important for us to have the authenticity of the characters. And while we'll have some announcements about the other characters that we're using, one of the most important ones I think that everybody wants to know about is Optimus Prime. You can't have an Optimus Prime without Peter Cullen, as far as I'm concerned. You can't do Transformers without him. And he came on, and he was fantastic to work with. I mean, he is that character, and it's amazing when you hear him say the lines we've worked on, and we go for those characters. As soon as they come out of his mouth, it has such weight. It was really exciting, and he actually brings something to the table when he comes in, because he cares about the character so much that he would often suggest some other ways that we could handle those lines to make sure that it was really Optimus Prime, which I thought was really awesome.
Oh man, childhood dream, fantastic. So I've only been at the studio for 3-4 weeks now, and I'm wondering, how did High Moon Studios, where did that name come from?
Well, the name came from actually partially from one of our first projects in the studio. We were originally known as Sammy Studios, and when we were working on Dark Watch, which some of our fans may remember, it was a vampire western. We broke off from Sammy and went independent. We had to find a name for ourselves. So we pulled the studio, and we had all kinds of names that came across, but
created a bunch of people.
You know, we were working on a western. It was a vampire western, and that project was really near and dear to our hearts. And so the one that stuck and the one that had the most votes was High Moon. Of course, the play on High Noon, and you know, it's been with us ever since.
All right, well, fantastic. Well, we'll have more from E3 hopefully tomorrow, maybe on the floor if we can get the sound working right. But I just want to say it's been great having your questions. We really appreciate all the community support. And Transformers: Dark of the Moon, it comes out, ships in the U.S.
June 14th.
June 14th. That's like Tuesday, right? And you know, you can follow us on Twitter at High Moon Studios, and of course, you already like our Facebook fan page, but get your friends to do it too. Good having you with us.